I'm ready to move on to the bird here. So I've got a bunch of different little areas. I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to do this because there's so many different choices that you can do here. You can choose to take this whole section that's right here, and you could choose to do it as one solid piece, or you could choose to do each individual little section together. And so those are all good options, or both good options. It's not really like there's that many. And I think for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to treat this as one section, and then the rest of these are individual feathers. So I'm going to be treating them as individual, but they're going to be like the same color. Like we do the petals of a flower. You do it with similar shades all together. Now I'm going to use my business card here because I forgot to grab a piece of scrap paper before I came in. So I'm going to show you there are 4 basic blues in this set. So this is the darkest right here. You can see it's a beautiful dark shade of blue. And you've got this one, and that was number 7. This is number 6 right here. They are both pretty deep blues. This one's a little bit more of a true blue, whether that one's kind of like a midnighty blue with that. And then you've got 2 more blues that are up in the higher numbers. And this is, let me make sure I get my numbers right, number 17. And then there is number 18. You can see that is a much lighter blue than the others. Now the number 17, based on color, looks like, if you look on the outside of the barrel, it looks like it would be a lot lighter of a blue. So it's kind of hiding in there. It's got a lot of gray in it. And I like that for this. So let's look here. Let's show a little bit of a shading. We'll start with a nice, and so you can see it tones down that blue quite a bit. I mean, quite so vivid. And you can get a really pretty, so I'm going to go do all of these here real quick. We'll just create a couple of color swatches here. You can see all with the light blue. And the differences. You can see there are slight subtle differences, and then you can use, several of them to layer together, then to also add to that, as well as then we've got this white, and this white, when you put it on top, changes it pretty quickly too, gives it that milky feel. So another option right here with Prismacolor White. So we've got several choices to do on this bird that even though it's only 4 colors, we've also got the purple that we can use also to add in a deep shading. So you can kind of see if I throw that purple in right there, it gets even deeper on that. So we have that option as well to go to. So quite a few choices with this. I love to make these outer edges, and that's what we're going to do on this. I love to go and make these go like a dark to light, and then to have that be one bold color wrapping around. I love the way that creates this really cool effect. So let's go ahead and jump right in on that one. We're going to go with, we'll make these a little bit softer on the inside here. So we're going to go with the number 6. Right in here, and I'm doing it super, super light. With this, so you can see I'm just getting in there, and I'm hardly any pressure on this. You see where he is. Now we're going to come in with this really bright blue. And then pretty firm pressure with that. Now I can still do a white blend with the white in the koh-i-noor set, and I haven't really shown that one. I'm going to use that one in here. It is different than the white in the Prismacolor because it doesn't have the opacity the Prismacolor White does, but it will still pull the color just a little bit. liven her up just that little bit. And to create that nice, pretty pale blue out there on the edge. I really do have an affinity for these bluebirds. So just going to go back through numbers. That was the number 6 was my darker shade. The number 17 was my lighter shade. On that, I put them backwards. Hold on, real quick over here in my. There we go. They were in the wrong slots at my over here in my little case. So now they're back where they're supposed to be. And now I'm going to come in that beautiful number 7 blue. Outline these. I just love the way the vivid outline just really makes them pop. I'm probably going to go in here in just a second and add just a little bit more blue up at the base of the feather just to add a little more contrast. So I get this in. It's always nice to be able to come back, just because sometimes things change when you add the next color and it's like, oh, I need to tweak that just a little bit. I think that's number like benefit 527 to doing lighter layers on all of this. So there we are on that. I'm going to come in, just see here, I used number 6 right here for it. Just going to add a little bit more down in here. Just love creating dimension in feathers. Now, another fun thing to use for feathers is the tritones that koh-i-noor has. I like those a lot. They're a little trickier to use, but when you've got a shade, you can rotate it. And you can make each feather slightly different that way with one pencil. You have to be pretty good about being able to create dimension using one pencil and how you press and using that, like, so how hard you press down to be able to create dimension. And once you master that, you can do a ton with them, but they're just a little more finicky because it's a little harder to put in shading with them. It can be done by using multiple pencils, but it's one of those that takes a lot more practice than just using a straight set. But you can create really neat things with it. So it's worth sitting down, working with, playing with to get it down, because it does create effects you can't really get in other pencils. Let's see here. Deciding I'm going to do his back next. I'm going to come in right here, and we're just going to put a shadow here. So I'm kind of thinking that the light is coming from this jewel. So his back is going to be a little bit more in shadow back here. So getting that put in right here. And it's kind of sitting underneath these pieces right there. Now if light's coming here, it's not going to cast a whole lot of shadow, but back here will. We'll shadow that in. And now I'm going to use the number 6 to blend in with that. Getting really nice light layers that way. If I want to go back and add in a little more shadowing when I see it finished, I've got that option. See, I've got this purple right here that I can come in. Just put a little bit back here. Just deepens that shadow just a little bit. There. Let's go ahead and I'm going to get the gamsol out on that area. I knew I was going to white blend the other because I wanted to kind of keep the edges a little lighter, and gamsol will pull the color a little more. I got to get the orange out of my brush. There we are, orange out of the brush. I'm just going to really blend this together now, and you'll see that blue that I used on the edge will really wake up. So, real pretty deep color there. And I want to add a little bit more dimension. So I'm coming back in with this really nice, pretty number 7, dark blue. Right there. Real happy with that. Oh, let's get up into here too. Now where you have really little areas, you could go in and do a lot of detail in there and really work hard on the shadowing. But I find that it's a lot of work and you don't get a lot of bang for your buck on that. So I'm just going to keep these pretty simple here. I'm just using the lightest shade of blue. That was the number 17. And it's real bright and sky blue right here. Kind of like a necklace that he has on right here with this. And I'm going to white blend that again so it keeps it nice and soft. As I'm working. And then pulling it all together. Okay, so you see how cool that looks right there. Blend this just a little more out here. Looking good. I'm happy with this so far. Now we've got more wings, and I've got some more of these little feathers. So I'm going to use the same technique I used up here with them coming this way. Instead, we're going to go the opposite direction with them. This is that number 6. My nice little thing. I'm going to do the same thing here. And here. And now to come in with the number 17. Because these are so small right here, I didn't worry too much about leaving a lot of white space. If I had, I wouldn't have had any room to put blue in. And working a little more right here. Now to blend that a little bit, I'm probably gonna, yeah, I am gonna come in and put a little more of the darker blue in there. Just to build that in a little bit. Okay, back in with the 6. Something that I've also found that's easy to do with like a set of Stabilo or fine line markers is that you can kind of come back in and add a harder line of shadow, and that's pretty deep and vivid. And I find that I have very little bleed through issues when I do it on top of the pencil. Now it seems really counter intuitive that I would put down marker on top of something that's oil based, that it would just smudge, but I really find very little smudge issues with it as long as I give it a little bit of time. Obviously I don't want to come right in after I lay it down and rub against it, but if I'm kind of careful about how I place my hands and let it sit, it dries really nicely and really well with it for creating those little more effects, giving me a little more just a couple more tricks in my toolbox to get to pull out with these. Oh, that was gonna be This is another feather here. It was kind of hiding. I just saw it. Let's fix you in here. No matter how hard I try, it seems like a lot of times I end up just missing one little piece somewhere. I have to come back and find it and fix it. Okay. Now this bird just sets up beautifully for getting to use some gel pen effects when he's done, and I will. All these little dots and little extras, to really make him look nice and jeweled. One thing I've learned is don't underestimate the simple white dot in the field of color too, and just how much impact that can have. Kind of surprises me a lot how much that adds. Go back and darken these up just a little bit. Okay, so there is that whole set of feathers. Now I'm going to think about these here, and I think that these feathers in the tail are kind of like just a jeweled up version of these. So I'm going to do the similar treatment to both. And I think I'm going to stick with the purple with the blue right there. I really like the way that looks, and I think it'll stand out nicely against what I just did, because I'm wanting to do shadowing against that dark blue that's right there. And this will allow this next set to kind of stand out a little bit more than it would have had I not come in. And if I think about it, we're going to keep this down because it's kind of tucked underneath. That one's tucked underneath. Tuck those in. Do this on these. And let's see, how are you guys sitting? I think looking at this, that trying to figure out which feathers on top. The way the lines go, because they are like right there next to each other. We're going to say we'll keep it pretty simple and keep the same line going on these. For how this all lays out right there. Next, to come in now with my number 6. I'm just doing this really lightly. I am going to come back in with this number 7 and darken up a little bit. But I'm going to hit it with the Gamsol first before I do. And a little bit of color goes a long way when you use the Gamsol, which is nice. Like, I don't have to press real hard, and I still get this beautiful color that just fills the area. It's a great hand saver. A little bit of purple in here is going a long way. I have very little Gamsol on my brush right now on purpose. That's why I'm able to kind of go all over the place doing this rather than just sitting here trying to be like so perfect in the lines. It allows you to be a little messy. I am doing a black background on this. I'm not too terribly concerned about the whole process, you know, about making sure that I'm staying out of the outer edges. I'm like, who cares? It's going to be black. It's going to completely cover it up. And I use a pigment pen to do that. And that'll be a technique that'll be in the third video so that you can see how that's all done. But it's just one of those, it's like, oh, you don't have to be like all nervous about making sure you're staying right on it and not losing anything. Okay, so now let's go back in with the number 7. Hit it again with the Gamsol to blend that in. Just a teeny bit on my brush. Almost creates like a watercolor effect, the blending here. That just will go beautifully onto the paper. Purple's a little more subtle now, like I want it. I don't want him to be a purple bird. He's a blue bird. I'll take these outer bits on him. I'm going to save these because I may do these in a different color. I may make that be like a real bright pop at the very end, so I'm saving those. Oh, I'm going to do those like we did. Oop, so I throw my pencils. Like we did our other little areas. So back in with the 6. And then the 17, the white, which is number 3. Blend those together. And now to go in with the dark blue, number 7. Okay, liking the way this is coming together. Now we're going to go in with that other blue that's a little bit number 18 right here. And this number 18 is the one that looks pretty gray. It has a very different look than the other blues. And I'm going to use it now to create just these little interesting I just see these as, I'm going to create some dimension with them, kind of like they're little raised. I'm using that number 17, the lighter blue. I'm going to use the Gamsol to just get the color in, and then we're going to come back with another layer. Once we put in this next layer, then it'll now we'll come back in, just darken up these edges now a little bit more. Right here. Then back in with that lighter blue, I'm just gonna emphasize the vertical movement here a little bit on that little crevice. Sometimes the little spots are where you end up having to go back in and make sure the pencil gets all the way down in the little itty bitty bit. Nice and right. Right there. Okay, this is coming together nicely. I'm getting happy with the way this bird is looking, especially considering we're using a very, very, very limited color palette on him and that he's coming awake, I guess is the best term. We're going to make you these little bits right here. I want those right here. I'm going to do this real lightly. Those dots are going to be darker. So real subtle blue right there, real light. And I'm just going to go ahead and, since I'm going darker, just blend that all nice and in there. Now we're going to go in with the number 6, not the full dark of the number 7. Number 6 instead. Here. Dot those in. Yeah, I like that a lot, and we'll do these guys right here. Darker shade as well. There we are. Try to decide up there. This is kind of more of an extension of this, so we'll stick with that idea there. Got a nose itch. So we'll come in again like this. And back in with the number 17. There was a goldfish in Lost Ocean that makes me think about this because I've got a very limited number of oranges and I was trying to just use orange on it. It was like, how many different ways can it combine these colors and keep creating new things? Very similar feel to this right here. Go back in with the dark, number 7. Keep going. Can't decide what color to make his neck. We'll make this the darker. Here. These feathers look like hair coming off of him. He's got long hair. Now to do number 6. That'll be a huge difference in these between the 7 and the 6 here. Pretty subtle. I'm going to create a really, really, really light fill right here at this number 6. Do the same thing on his head here. Thinking through how this is going to sit here. if the light is coming from right here. Go past a teeny bit. Here, I could like triangle that out a little bit there. A nice straight blue. I really think this is the closest to like the Crayola blue. Comes in like that 8-pack that you had as a kid. This is really the closest blue to that. There you go, smooth that out a little bit. Smooth this one out. Okay, now these hair feathers. And I've still got this little bit right here. I think, yeah, that'll be darker. We use this one again rather than the 7. We use the 6. And we'll do it real lightly with the number 17 here. Create some contrast. Okay, looking at the hair. I think I'm going to start with the purple. Up at the base. Right here. And I'm really making sure that I'm making sure it is an actual piece. When you're up here, sometimes it's hard to tell, is that or is that background? So it's got that. So we've got purple. Next, we're going to move into number 7. Just real light with that one. And then into the 6. Then I'm going to white blend this out a little bit, remembering that this is going to be a black background. So these white ends will actually show up quite a bit against this. May not look super exciting now, but it will. As I get that background in. So there is the basics for the hair. Now let's go and get the others in. So this down here, and then we'll decide. I think I may do those purple. Oh, purple first. Picked up the wrong one. Purple, which is number 8, by the way. Double checking to make sure I'm coloring one of the little hair feathers instead of the background. Yep, that's one there. To double check. Keep looking. Okay. Now the darker blue, which is number 7. And next, the number 6. And now to white blend that in. There is that one done. Those colors, put these back so I don't end up setting them in the wrong spot again. That now, still debating these. So let's go ahead and we'll do the yellow real quick on the beak. Because these are such, I'm gonna sit here and just do like this. Right there, nice bright yellow here. I'm gonna add just a teeny bit of ochre. And the darkest areas where the shadow hits on the yellow right there, and there we go. That yellow was easy. That bought me next to no time to decide what I'm going to do on those ends. I think I'm going to stay in the blues, and I'm going to use this the lighter blue right here because I don't really have any of that shade down here at the bottom. I think it'll bring the bird back together nicely down here. So this is the number 17. Going back in with that. And I'm just going to color it in pretty bold with this color back here. And there we go. We have a bluebird. We'll hit that with the Gamsol just to really cement that in. There we go. And smooth it out. So next we have the eye. I'm going to need to Google a picture of a bird eyeball here real quick because I am not really, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, for sure what a bird eye looks like. Images. Okay, that's really freaky. We're not going to be doing a red eye, but I wanted to make sure that it was black on the inside. Yes. I knew what a chicken eye looks like. They're really weird because they're orange. So we've got a black inside. It looks like kind of a color, lots of yellows and oranges. Look at that one. That's a really pretty one. Okay, we're not going to make it red because a red eye there would look really, really freaky. But we can do black center. And that makes him look like he's wearing a googly eye. And we'll put in, I'm trying to think what color. We'll do the gray blue right here, which is number 6 or number 18. It's not like white right there. And this is a great spot with your gel pen to come in and do a white dot when you're done. Make sure I don't pick up any of the black. dabbing right there. There we go. Now his eye is not like glaring at you, but if I do a little white dot right like in there, actually it would be up in the front if the light source is here. Right there, it'll like really start to pop when we're done. And that little nostril right there, we're gonna make him black too. There we go. It won't stand out as much once this is done that's black, because this will be like ultra black versus just the pencil black because of doing the set on top of it where it's with my pigment pens. I'm having trouble coming up with the words right now. I've eaten, I've had coffee, but still having trouble with all this. So next, we're going to move on to the leaves. I like leaving the leaves to last, like as far as the major components go, just because I can then make them fit with the rest of it. These leaves to me would seem to go more towards a lighter green that would have a lot of lime in it, those shades. These down here would be a hair deeper, more of a true green against this orange right here. And then this up here will be a little more of a simple, basic green, maybe with even a little bit of brown in it, just because it's more of a woody kind of stalk versus the leaf. Like there really isn't a leaf on that plant anywhere. So let's go ahead and we'll jump right in with these leaves that have the little polka dots right here. You can see those go with this plant. Sometimes it takes a minute to look at these and figure out which one goes with which. I'm going to pull out my handy dandy business card again, and we're going to be using two colors for the most part. I may come back in with the darkest green and like deepen a couple of areas, but we're going to be using this beautiful number 4 right here, and then it's number 19, which is the limey green. And then I like sometimes if there's really highlighted areas, I will use the yellow with it to kind of pull just a little bit. Not a whole lot though, because if you do too much with yellow, your leaves end up looking like they're sick and something's wrong with the plant. It either has too much water or it needs water. So it's just the teeniest bit. So just a FYI on that. So let's go ahead and we'll start right over here. And we'll come right in. Looking at this guy. And I'm not going to worry about the dots as I'm going, just because those will be gel penned later. If you really want to be careful, like if you wanted to leave them white or have them be another color, I would highly suggest, especially if you want them white, to do them first. You're not going to be coming in with a gel pen, just because color bleed into them will happen with all those little dots. Going in and just making this line here just a little firmer. Now we'll come in with this number 19. You can see this is a very limey green. Okay, so let's camsol these up. Clean my brush because last time I used it was in blue. Now we're ready. This will just really bring those two shades together nicely. Blend them just that little bit more. There, you see that? I'm going to come back in with the number 4 and just deepen those shadows just a teeny bit more. So that's that leaf. We're also going to be using the same color scheme for the flower little bits here. Let's show what that would look like. Now these, you could have looked at those as leaves too. I made the decision that I was going to look at those as petals. I think either interpretation is correct with that, so it's whatever you saw them as. Okay, now just to blend that a little bit. And a teeny bit more of the darker number 4. And there are both types of leaves with that. Now for the stalk on these, it's shadowed in here. I'm going to use the same color. And I'm just thinking about where my light source is. You could do a different color for the stalk. I find that I like keeping it in the same color schemes as the leaves that go with the different plants. For me, it helps me know, oh, this one goes here. And part of coloring to me is almost making sense of this just very simple black and white picture. And by adding colors, like, oh, that's what that was. And it's easier to interpret what the drawing was. So that's my personal take on it. It is not what has to be. You could pick a different color for the stem. It makes total sense. You could do a slightly different color scheme for the leaves that are around the flower versus the leaves that are out on the plant. It's your call on that, just like you could make any of these flowers any color you wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video for a little bit now while I do the rest of the leaves that go along with the light pink flowers, and then I will come back when I'm ready to do the leaves that are down here with the red flowers. Okay, got all of the limey green leaves done. Now I'm going to go into a darker green. Oh, I'm having almost a frill around. So I'm going to be using the number 5 right here, this really, really dark green. And then the number 4 right here again. So those two will be in there together. Now, because this is the deepest green, I will be using the dark blue to work in a little bit of shadowing where the dark green needs to be shadowed. Can also use a little bit of purple. I'm going to play it by ear as I go, so you're just going to, we'll figure out which one needs to be used when it needs to be used. So let's go in here and find a good spot where you guys can see. We'll just come in right here, right by this one. And so what I'm going to do is see if I'm putting in this. And then this center line is going to be the dark right here. So we'll go ahead and fill that in. And then because of the way a leaf kind of curves, this gets shadowed here with this style of leaf. And then down here, we'll get shadowed. We're going to do, I'm actually going to put in a third color here in just a second. I'll show you. I'm going really soft right now. I'll probably come in a little bit later and deepen that line. Next, coming in here with the regular green, number 4. You can see how that blends in nicely. And then I'm going to use this more of a seafoam type green. It's number 20 in here. To be where my highlight is, up here in the lightest area. And it just has a slightly different cast to it. And I really like the way that that works to create a highlight. I found that when I was playing with markers over back at Christmas in the live streams there, that this color scheme, using that little bit of seafoam there, really does a lot. Especially for keeping it, if you don't want it to go to like a lime. Kind of a feel, that little bit of seafoam really does ground it nicely. So now I'm going to come back in and deepen this up just a little bit more. Same in here. Pull this just a little bit more. Blend it. And that's the basic of that leaf right there. That's more in tone with like a regular green. Now with this, let's show how I'm going to put in that little bit of blue. I'm just running right there. Then it just puts a little bit of a shadow in on top of it. I don't want a ton there. It's not going to be a huge deal breaker if you don't put in that line. I just think it helps finish it off nicely. And we're going to be doing the same thing that we did on the other bits of stem that we did before. I am going to make this just solid dark. It's a little easier to do a solid dark. And I'm going to come through here. And I'm just leaving the teeniest bit right there for this green to pick up. And if you wanted to, you can come back in with the blue and give it just a little bit more. Right there, just to help deepen it just that little bit more if you want. I would completely put that one under the optional category for it. So that is what's going to be happening on the rest of these. Going to go ahead and speed up and go through those, and then we're going to be pretty close to done. Okay, the next piece that we have left to do right now are these little bugs and then the jewel. And I have to decide what I'm going to do with these little dots down here at the bottom. I haven't decided yet what exactly they're going to be. I was thinking maybe there's a gray in here, and I thought a gray might be nice to make them like little stones, kind of pebbles down here at the bottom, and that would be something fun to do. So for the first little caterpillar that's over here, I'm just going to do him in the number 4 green. This doesn't have a whole lot of space on him. I'm going to have him just be nice bright green right here. Not a whole lot to do with him. And then, kind of like in the Dutch paintings that you'll look at, the still life, see there'll be a little bug hiding, and sometimes it's a little bit of work to find them. So really, there we go. Nice and sharp now. I can just a teeny bit on these circles. There we go. Just a little bit there. Not a whole lot on him. He's so tiny. It's not a huge deal. The other one over here, this little bug, I'm going to make him, I'm going to go with brown just because I get a little brown beetle on him. Because I don't really have any brown anywhere, and I thought that would help him stand out just a little bit. We have so much purple on the bird, so like making him like a little June bug wasn't going to work. Just a little brown. A little simple there. We'll add a teeny bit here. There with the darker brown. So I used the regular brown, which is 11, and then it's actually a sienna shade, which is number 23 there with him. And now there's only one gray in the set, so this is 24 right here. Put it in the camera rather than here. I'm just gonna do these little stones down here. Okay, there are all those little stones in. Now for the gem, and I thought it would be nice to make it kind of like a ruby in here in the middle. And so I'm going to be using my red and some of the pinks and purples here. So rather than it being the warm red that we've got down here with the flowers, this is going to be more of a cool red up here. I'm going to make sure that the middle is nice, bright and red. Light kind of shines through gems sometimes in funny little ways. I love the way that light can shine through. Right there for that. going to put a teeny bit of red on top of the pink, just a little bit, just to kind of darken it. And a little bit of red in here. Just using this to kind of bring them together a little bit, because they were a little too different for me. So there, that kind of brought it all together. That's looking nice. Now, normally I would hit that area with a blender pencil to really get those in there nice, shiny, and bright. But because I'm doing another layer on this, I'm not going to go in with the blender pencil because I still have some more I'm going to do for like the next steps, like to take this to the next level. So that has this guy completely finished for this first beginner level. If you want to skip on to the background, that's going to be at video 3, so it'll be in a couple weeks. But the next set in this one will be doing some little bit more difficult kind of things. I'll be using my straight up koh-i-noor set in there, so these to come in and just add in a little bit more. Also, bouncing my table here, sorry guys. Also be using some marker technique with that as well, with my stabilos, to just really come in and make this pop. I mean, it's good where it is. Don't get me wrong on that. I'm not saying that this isn't good. I'm saying this was a beginner level. Next, we'll go in with a little more advanced technique, and then we'll do the background. So those are the set videos for the next couple that'll be coming out. So I'm happy with my little bluebird here, and I hope that you are too. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, as well as you can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at Grease and Lottie's there. And I will see you in the next video.